Hey everyone, let's read this book about polar bears. Who am I? I'm white and furry, and I swim in the sea. The cold snow and ice are just right for me. Who am I? I'm a polar bear. Have you seen a polar bear in a zoo? Polar bears are big, really big. They are the biggest meat eaters on land. A polar bear can weigh as much as 7 men. The polar bear's body is built for the Arctic. These bears have thick fur to keep them warm. Polar bears have thick fat too. The fat keeps body heat in and keeps the Arctic cold out. They have powerful paws. They have long, thick, curved claws to grab food easily. They have thick pads to keep their feet warm. The front paws are webbed like a duck's feet. This helps the polar bear swim. And webbed means that they have skin between what would be their fingers. And this makes their paw more like a paddle, so they can paddle the water better. Bumps on the foot pads keep bears from slipping on the ice. So they have bumps on their pads. Big paws keep bears from sinking in the snow. The paws are larger than a dinner plate. Wow, so their paws, this is about how big a plate is that you would use to eat dinner. Their paws are bigger than this. That's a big bear, isn't it? A polar bear's paws do many things. Paws dig dens in the snow. They break the ice to find food. They also pull food out of the water. Super swimmers. Polar bears are great swimmers. They spend a lot of time in the water. Their front paws paddle. Their back legs steer. Their fat helps polar bears float. Do you know another word for fat in Arctic animals? It starts with a B-L, blubber. A polar bear eats other animals. Seals are its favorite food. This bear is hunting seals on the sea ice. Seals come up for air at holes in the ice. The bear waits and waits. Finally, a seal appears. Polar bears have good noses. They can smell a seal 20 miles away. Polar bears have good hearing and eyesight too. These come in handy when looking for dinner. This bear spotted an Arctic fox. The ice melts in spring and summer. Polar bears stay with the ice when they can. They move to land when the sea ice is mostly gone. On land, they usually don't eat at all. Some bears may eat bird eggs. They might eat plants or berries, but there's not much food for polar bears on land. In Churchill, Canada, polar bears come to town in the fall. The ice is melting earlier each year. It's forming later too. The bears are hungry. They're looking for food. Seven amazing polar bear facts. Polar bears have black skin underneath their white fur. The largest polar bear ever recorded was over 2,000 pounds. That's the weight of a small sports car. Sometimes polar bears get too hot. Then they take a swim or they roll in the snow. Can you imagine living way up in the Arctic where it's freezing cold all the time, but actually you're hot, you feel hot? That's how a polar bear feels. They are so perfectly made for the cold weather that they actually get hot. Walruses are one of the few animals that polar bears are afraid of. Some people go on vacations to see polar bears. They ride in special buggies to stay safe. Would you want to see a real polar bear out in the wild? I saw a polar bear one time at the zoo, and that was really fun. Polar bears can eat 100 pounds of seal fat at one time. That's about as heavy as 400 hamburgers. Polar bears clean themselves by rubbing their bodies on the snow. That's how they take a bath. They rub on the snow. Every new polar bear is special. A mother bear has babies called cubs. She digs a den in the snow. The cubs stay safe and warm in the den. The cubs drink their mother's milk and they grow quickly. Soon they are big enough to leave the den. A mother polar bear teaches her cubs to hunt. She also teaches them how to stay safe and warm. The cubs leave their mom when they are 2 years old. Then they're ready to live on their own. Polar bears like to play just like you. Bears wrestle with each other, they slide in the snow, they like to play games too. Sometimes a cub gets a ride from mom. These bears are off on an Arctic adventure. Hope you enjoyed the story. Bye.